Get your elements ready, vendors. Netflix is shaking things up big time in their live-action remake of the beloved Avatar: The Last Airbender series. Do the changes have some fans freaking out more? That Momo in a thunderstorm. Others are keeping an open mind. I mean, we gotta see how things played out. Sure, adjusting the origin timeline and bringing the Fire Royal family early and tweaking Sokka outlook are both move, but the showrunners promise it's all being done with love for the original. Here's the latest on those differences so far and Netflix take on Avatar: The Last Airbender and how fans are dealing with the news. Bending the elements in a new direction. When news first dropped that Avatar: The Last Airbender was getting a live-action makeover courtesy of Netflix, fans ignited a social media storm faster than one of Iroh's lightning bolts. After all, Avatar is not just some cartoon, it's an achievement in animated storytelling that still connects with fans 15 years since it was debuted. Hesitation was understandable, but showrunner Albert Kim believes that with care that the remake can honor the spirit of the original while bringing a fresh vibe as compelling as the first series. So what exactly is being tweaked so far, twisted, or downright transformed in the jump from screen to screen? Part of what gave Avatar kinetic energy was the ticking clock, as he had to master the 4 elements: earth, water, fire, and air, explained to young Aang. Mystical Comet was set to return in under a year. If Firelord Ozai harnessed the Comet's power to dominate the other nations, it will be a game over, so Aang had to hustle hard in mastering all the elements to stand a chance. But as you know, Kim recognized that breakneck pace will be tough to sustain in a live-action format spanning longer episodes and multiple seasons. So in the Netflix version, the Comet still possesses a threat, not only in season 1, whether Aang's deadline gets extended or the mechanics shift due to the other timeline tweaks, slowing down allows more time to explore relationships and themes per episode. Another change is that, as you know in the animated series, Firelord Ozai stays largely behind the scenes while Prince Zuko does the heavy on-screen lifting for the Fire Nation. The Firelord daughter, Azula, does not make her entrance before season 2 either, but Netflix edition adds the duo straight into the action in season 1, so we're gonna see Firelord as well as Azula earlier than before. They're gonna include new scenes. This lets us better understand the family dysfunction that fuels Zuko while layering in their power struggles. And while it risks shifting emphasis away from Team Avatar in a few episodes, it could also add more to the narrative tension. Beyond spotlighting the Firelord and Azula, Kim saw room to as well change other key figures. We'll also learn more about what triggers stress for Sweet. The show will fill in gaps on what drives Katara and her brother while allowing their core personalities to shine through to help modernize the portrayal of certain characters. Other changes were made. And this one is one of those that are affecting a lot of the fans. Much of Sokka humor in early Avatar episodes leans on sexist remarks, but Kim's team felt that while toning down that element, they could keep Sokka's essential comedic spirit intact in ways that translate to today's landscape. The evolution should make this eventual empowerment of warrior Suki more meaningful. As well, in my opinion, it could be a delicate balance, but leaning into the absurd and situational humor rather than the outdated gender assumptions feels like a good route in a way. Let's see what happens with this when the episodes are released. Now, as you know, the Rich Universe, which is another change, is that if you are a fan of the Avatar franchise, you know that there's graphic novels, books, and other content that the showrunners fully immerse themselves in when developing the remake. So this is gonna have reference as well as backstory details drawn from those extended works, connecting to the plot lines and character histories. It allows for other themes into what was originally a Nickelodeon cartoon without reinventing the world. Now, something that is really interesting, and this is something that was changed, the original Avatar creators Michael and Brian from the Netflix series after show involvement, but as you know, they left. However, Kim says that their early input helped inform the vision and themes moving forward. Now, since this is a series, I imagine that it's gonna be more than an episodic adventure of the week, something that they, the series in Nickelodeon did. So obviously, to convert a format common for network cartoons into the series is something that they had to adapt. Obviously, we're going to see more connections, allow them to consolidate plots more tightly episode to episode while aiming to honor the original soul. So I imagine that a lot is going to be removed, but the important things and important moments are going to be used, like the Kyoshi Island and so on. Now, something that they also said is that Aang is not going to use the avatar state a lot. It's something that is going to be earned. Something that we saw in the Nickelodeon cartoon is that he goes into the state often, and that's something that they wanted to change, and that's something that we also going to see in this series. Also, Kim saw room to connect more drive from the outset, so right away they're moving straight into what's going to, what they have to do, which is go to the Northern Water Tribe right away. Now, something that we also not going to see is that the key part of Avatar appeal lies in its rich world building across the 4 nations, and as we can expect, we're not going to see that. There's so many things that they will have to do as well, so complex CGI rendering. So hey, that's sad, but obviously I imagine they're gonna go to new locations. Now, something that I'm excited to see is how the Fire Nation attacks. Obviously, condensing plots and expanding characters could spark some fan debate and discussion. The changes come from a desire to mature Avatar: The Last Airbender, obviously connecting theme for modern audience. Well, the fresh live action take rival is animated forebear. We will have to wait and see the Airbenders and what happened without those events. It's not something that is shown on the Nickelodeon show, so that's something that I can. That's a good change. I'm excited to see that. Now, those are some of the changes so far. The show has not been released yet, but this is some of the information that was released by the showrunner as well as what we know so far from the trailer as well. So I'm excited for that, and hey, I'm looking forward to this show. I love Avatar since I was a little kid, and now I'm an adult and excited to see this show when it's released February 22nd. But what are your thoughts so far on the changes? Are they good? Are they bad? Azula, seeing her earlier in the series as well, and the connection to her brother and father. I'm excited to see the dynamic more and more. But anyways, that's the video for today. My name is Christian from Beam Premiere, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.